Hi and welcome to Big Brain Guitar Channel. I'm Alessandro from Italy and every day I helped intermediate and advanced guitar player improve their skills, especially in modern rock and fusion, so they can reach a truly professional level of playing. If you've been trying to understand outside playing, but it still feels like random chromatic notes, playing for example a half step above or below, or simply guessing your way through improvisation, this lesson is for you. Today I'm going to show you a practical step-by-step approach to incorporating outside sounds into your solos. Of course, without relying on complicated scales or random note choices. Instead, you'll discover a logical and high systematic method that will help you create convincing harmonic tension while keeping complete control over your phrasing. Now, before we get started, be sure to download the free material attached to this lesson. So be sure to go to the link in the description where you will find the free PDF with all the shapes of the scale that we're going to use in this lesson, the backing tracks, and everything you need to follow along and practice with me this concept effectively. Now, most important thing, these aren't just theoretical ideas. They are practical exercises that I use every day for myself and that I teach to all my students with consistently great results. So, let's get started. First of all, what does it mean to play outside? Outside playing means introducing altered note or tension over the chords and the harmony you are playing on. In other words, you are temporarily stepping outside the scale or the chord context in a very controlled way, creating tension that later resolves. To simplify this concept, let's start from the very classic source of tension, the dominant chord. Now, in this lesson, I'm going to use an A minor vamp, or better yet, an A Dorian context, because it's perfect for this kind of examples. Okay, here's the idea. We can already create an outside sound, an outside effect, by momentarily superimposing the arpeggio of E7 on the A minor chord. This already gives us a strong sense of harmonic movement. So, in other sense, outside playing can be understood as temporarily modulating to other chord or harmonic center that is not actually been playing underneath. Of course, we are not playing random. We are creating a controlled harmonic shift. And now, here's the example. Now, let's get started with the example. Don't be afraid of the A Dorico from G major scale because I'm still translating the whole program in English. So be patient. The full version, the full English version is on the way. So in this case, I'm going to play the first shape of the A Dorian mold from the G major scale with the 3 notes per string pattern. Okay? Very common scale. Now, the first exercise is to just alternate the A Dorian shape with the E7 arpeggio shape, okay? But underneath there is always the A minor pad. Of course, in this case, there are lots of notes in common between the A Dorian shape and the E7 shape, okay? Because the only outside note is the G sharp, the major 7 of the A note, okay? All the other notes are in common. So it's a very simple way, a beginner way to go outside, alright? Now again. It's a sort of progressive way to go outside, right? Of course, we are not going to focus on the dominant chord in the traditional way. Instead, I want to show you a more advanced concept, the Tritone Substitution. Now, what is the Tritone Substitution? It is an harmonic technique that allows you to replace the 5th chord, of course in a 5th 1 movement, with another chord located a tritone away. A tritone is a 6 half tone above or below, or if you prefer, an augmented 4 or diminished 5th above or below. For example, the Tritone substitution of the E7 is the B flat 7 chord. And here comes the key point. Over this kind of sounds, the typical scale choice is the Lydian dominant. I am not making this a full lesson of the Lydian dominant scale, right? But I need to show you what it is and exactly how it works. Now, the Lydian dominant scale is the fourth mode of the melodic minor scale, okay? That means that to play the B-flat Lydian dominant scale, of course, we have to use the F melodic minor scale, alright? Now, let's understand the notes and, of course, the intervals of this scale. The notes are B-flat, C, D, E, F, G, and A-flat. And the intervals are, let's write them in red, the root, the second, the major third, the augmented fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the flat 7. Now, in this case, the chord resultant will be a B flat 13, or in this case, B flat, D, F, and A flat, of course with that. So these are the root, the third, the fifth, and the flat 7, plus the extension. For the extension lovers, an octave up, this is the ninth, this is the augmented 11th, and this is the 13th. Alright, so in this case we have 9th, the C note, the augmented 11th, the sharp 11, that is the E note, and the 13, that is G note. Okay, so we can understand easily which chord we have to play to sound like the Lydian dominant. So this is the 9th, this is the sharp 11, and this is the 13. Alright, so we're going to use the first shape of the B-flat Lydian dominant mode. Alright, now before we move on, be sure to download the free material to the link in the description, so the free PDF with all the shapes that we are using in this lesson and the backing tracks, so you can follow around and practice these exercises with me effectively. Now here is the process. First, we alternate between the A Dorian and B-flat Lydian dominant. Okay, now in the backing track, in the example I'm going to show you, both chords are present, so the context is guided. Why? Because, of course, outside playing is not only a matter of rules, it is also physiological. You need to feel the harmonic displacement, and that takes conviction, right? This alternating approach trains your ear to accept the semitones shift in a controlled way. Now, it is not random, it is a meaningful modulation. So now let's move on and go with the exercises. The first step is to simply go up and down with these two scales, okay? Now a second step could be to just go up with one scale and go down with the other scale to start develop a more sense of the geometry, right? So I go up with the A Dorian shape, of the first shape of the A Dorian mode, and then I go down with the B flat Lydian dominant. And then repeat. Sorry. Okay. Now, what we are really doing is turning a 5-1 type harmonic motion into a kind of 1 second minor function, okay? But using a dominant quality through the Tritone substitution. Once you become familiar with that sound, we remove the B-flat chord and keep only the A minor pedal, alright? Then we do the exact same thing, but now the harmonic support is gone. That makes the exercises more advanced, because now you must stay accurate on your own. Now, for the connection work, you can start, of course, with the internal linking exercises. For example, move through the neck by changing position while keeping the scale logic intact. Now, ascend with one shape and descend with the other shape is the first step. In a second phase, you can start mixing the shapes inside the phrase, alright? So, For example, instead of changing only at the ends of the neck, switch between the two sounds every 8 notes, or inside the phrase itself. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I switch to B flat, Lydian dominant. Then I switch again, in between. Then again. Alright, now at first it will sound a little confusing. That is normal. It is not an easy exercise, but it will be extremely effective. Once you've done that, start applying this concept on the backing track, and you will immediately hear how well it works. Now here's the example.
1, 2, 3, 4.
First start with just the scales. And my advice is to play less, okay? Hey Dorian. Okay, and so on. Once you feel confident, you can go ahead and play a more virtuoso phrasing. Now, it's very important for you to play and resolve exactly when the chord is changed, okay? It's absolutely important. Now, let's move to the final step. We're going to use the same method over the A minor vamp only. This time, there is no B flat 7 chord underneath. There is only the A pedal. So the B flat Lydian dominant sound becomes a true superimposition. Now, this is the real outside effect. As I already mentioned, the important thing here is to landing correctly. Of course, when the B flat chord is there, it is easier because the harmony helps guide the resolution. When only the A vamp, the A chord is present, you must avoid staying too much on the non-chords tones and use them only as passing tones to create brief outside tension and then returns. This is of course the difference between sounding random and sounding precise. So the real goal is not to playing outside for the sake of being outside. The goal is to create tension and release in a very controlled way, rhythmically and harmonically convincing. Now, of course, here's the example with the backing track with the only A minor vamp. Alright, here's the example.
1, 2, 3.
So as you can hear, there is only the A Dorian vamp. Now let's go. My advice is to just change the scale with the ongoing of the two bars, okay? Now a bar with the A Dorian and a bar with the B flat Lydian dominant, even though the B flat chord is not present, right? So something like that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
B flat. B flat. A. Once you feel confident, you can start really improvising. Alright, maybe this sound a little overwhelming, so you can try another thing. You go with the first 3 bar with the A minor and then the last bar with the B flat Lydian dominant. So you go outside only 1 bar and this sounds a little better, okay? Now let's hear.
1, 2, 3.
So first bar. Second. Third. Last one. Okay. So, as you can see, outside playing does not mean playing randomly. It means introducing controlled dissonance, altered tones and harmonic tensions in a way that create real melodic phrasing and a real sense of movement and resolution. If you practice this method step by step, you will notice a very, very fast improvement, especially if you like fusion, rock fusion music. Now, again, be sure to go to the link in the description or in the first pinned comment and to download the free material, so the PDF with all the shapes, all the scale that we have used in this lesson and the free backing tracks to follow around and practice these exercises with me effectively. Now, that's it for this lesson. My name is Alessandro from Italy. This is the Big Brain Guitar channel and see you in the next lesson.